Welcome back to Rise and Raise. As parents, we often feel like we are swimming against a powerful tide. We see our children becoming more withdrawn, more anxious, and more tethered to their devices. We ask ourselves, is this just the new normal, or has something gone fundamentally wrong? Today, we are diving deep into a book that provides the answers. The Anxious Generation by social psychologist Jonathan Haidt. This isn't just another critique of technology. It is a clinical look at how we have accidentally rewired the human childhood. Haidt argues that for thousands of years, childhood was play-based. Children spent their days interacting with the physical world, taking small risks, and learning social cues through face-to-face contact. But between 2010 and 2015, everything changed. We witnessed the Great Rewiring. Childhood moved from the real world to the virtual world. Why did this happen? It was a perfect storm. The introduction of the iPhone 4 with a front-facing camera, the rise of the like button on Facebook, and the high-speed connectivity of 4G. Suddenly, the playground was replaced by the platform. Haidt points out a tragic irony. As a society, we became obsessed with safetyism. We stopped letting our kids walk to school or play in the woods because we feared physical world dangers, even though those dangers were decreasing. Yet, at the very same time, we opened the front door and let the entire digital world, with all its predators, bullies, and addictive algorithms, right into our children's bedrooms. We overprotected them in the real world where they needed to grow, and we underprotected them in the virtual world where they are most vulnerable. The result? A massive spike in anxiety and depression that began exactly when the smartphone became ubiquitous. In this episode, we won't just look at the damage. We will look at the biology of the brain, the difference between how boys and girls react to this digital shift, and most importantly, we will provide a roadmap for you as a parent to help your child reclaim their life. Let's begin. To understand why this is happening, we have to look under the hood. We have to look at the human brain. Jonathan Haidt explains that a child's brain is not just a smaller version of an adult brain, it is a brain under construction. When a child plays in the real world, climbing trees, playing tag, or resolving a playground argument, their brain is producing experience-dependent growth. They are learning how to read faces, how to manage frustration, and how to take risks. But when that child moves into the digital world, the stimulation changes. Instead of slow, natural interactions, they are hit with constant bursts of dopamine. Every like, every notification, and every auto-playing video is designed to hijack the brain's reward system. Haidt calls this the slot machine in the pocket. Our children are being conditioned to seek instant gratification, which destroys their ability to focus on long-term goals. But here is where the research gets even more specific. Haidt noticed a massive difference in how this affects our sons versus our daughters. For girls, the damage is primarily relational. Social media platforms like Instagram and TikTok are based on visual comparison. A young girl is no longer just competing with the girls in her class. She is competing with filtered, airbrushed influencers from across the globe. This leads to what Haidt calls the comparison trap, resulting in a devastating spike in body dysmorphia and self-harm. The bullying for girls has also moved from the school hallway to the digital world, where it is 24/7 and relentless. For boys, the story is different. It's not about comparison, it's about withdrawal. Boys are moving away from the real world and into the world of high-definition video games and endless online content. While this might seem less harmful than what girls face, Haidt argues it is creating a failure to launch. Boys are losing the motivation to pursue real-world achievements because they can get a fake sense of achievement by leveling up in a game. They are becoming more isolated, less social, and less prepared for the challenges of manhood. As parents of the Rise and Raise community, we must realize that a phone-based childhood is starving our children of the very things they need to become healthy adults: sleep, face-to-face social time, and the ability to be bored. Boredom is where creativity is born, but in the age of the smartphone, no child is ever bored. They are just occupied, and that is a dangerous distinction.
By now, you might be feeling overwhelmed. You might be looking at your child's phone and seeing a digital wall between you and them. But Jonathan Haidt is clear. This is not a hopeless situation. We are not victims of technology. We are its masters. However, we cannot fight this battle alone. We need collective action. Haidt proposes 4 simple yet revolutionary rules to help us transition back to a healthy childhood. As members of the Rise and Raise community, these are our new non-negotiables. Rule number 1, no smartphones before high school. This is the big one. Haidt suggests that we should give our children dumb phones or basic flip phones if they need to stay in touch for safety. A smartphone is a portal to the entire world that a 10 or 12-year-old brain is simply not ready to handle. By waiting until high school, around age 14, you are giving their prefrontal cortex a chance to develop the impulse control they will need later. Rule number 2, no social media before age 16. The current age limit of 13 is a failure. It was set by lawyers, not developmental psychologists. Haidt argues that the years between 13 and 16 are the most sensitive for social development and identity formation. Letting a child enter the judgment zone of social media during these years is like letting them drive a car without a license on a highway. Let them find out who they are in the real world first. Rule number 3, phone-free schools. This is something we must advocate for in our local communities. When kids have phones in their pockets at school, they are never fully present. Even if the phone is off, the mere presence of it reduces cognitive capacity. Schools must be a sanctuary for focus, deep learning, and face-to-face social interaction. Many schools that have banned phones report an immediate decrease in bullying and an increase in student happiness. Rule number 4, more independence and unsupervised play. This might be the hardest rule for us as modern parents. We have to overcome our own anxiety. We need to give our children free-range experiences. Let them walk to the store. Let them ride their bikes to a friend's house. Let them get lost and find their way back. Resilience is not something you can teach from a book. It is a muscle that only grows when a child faces a small challenge and overcomes it on their own. As we wrap up this episode, I want to leave you with one thought. You don't have to be the mean parent who takes everything away. You can be the leader who starts a movement. Talk to the other parents in your child's class. If 5 families agree to these rules, the social pressure on your child disappears. We are at a turning point. We can let the digital world consume the next generation, or we can choose to rise and raise them with intention. The choice is ours.